In the next best of 3 at the ESL Major League, we're having 3D Max going up against Acer. And this is a pretty difficult match to play for Acer now. They had a few lineup changes just recently and are currently trying out several new players. The one that they're using in this series is Tony. He came in for a pony. And as you already know, 3D Max is pretty darn strong. They are one of the best teams in Europe now. And Acer has a very good track record as well. But with the lineup changes, we might see them struggle here a bit. So they have to prove now that they, even with a newer lineup, are able to beat teams like 3D Max. And game number 1 is of course going to happen in just a second. So let's jump in and see who's going to take the lead in the best of 3 here at the ESL Major League. Garden of Terror is the first map in best of 3, number 2 of the day here at the ESL Major League. We're looking at a Cypher for Team Acer on the left side in blue, and going to play Tychus in this game. Greenout on Illidan, Exxon on ETC, Tony on Uther, Holo on Azebo, and Acer's opponent in this best of 3 series is none other than the Polish team 3D Max, Napierdalai. They're going for ADRD on Sergeant Hammer, Shaihu on Stitches, Leo from Korea on Malfuria, Nika on Vala, and Yobe on Tacita. I'm Khaldor, and with me is of course Kelaris, bringing you the coverage here at the ESL Major League.
Alright, so triple split up to the top here for both of teams, as is tradition, obviously, with Holo, Cypher, and Tony heading up to the top. Going to be rivaling off against Nika, Leo, and ADRD, not really revealing themselves just yet behind that wall. And in the other lanes, it's the 1v1.
I'm having a pretty fun time seeing that we're having Greenout on Illidan. Greenout was a supporter the entire time, and he's playing Illidan now. It's basically him saying, guys, if I don't get my Brightwing, I want to have something else that can jump. And they're like, well, I guess you can play Illidan, and we're putting Tony on Usa. I think that's probably what happened there. So it's interesting to see that. I don't think I've ever seen him not playing the support in the team, but Tony is taking that role for them now. The reason, by the way, why they were hiding behind the wall was also that they wanted to hide the Sergeant Hammer lane, so that you might get a bit of damage in against the structures before your opponent is able to react to it, but that didn't work out for them.
Well, they're holding on strong here, Acer at the top. As you said, it's going to be interesting to see how Greenout is going to do on the damage dealer. I haven't really seen him playing damage too much, so for now, we're going to see how this tri-lane perks up at the top. They're already pinging which camp they're actually going to go for. I'm wondering who actually pinged that. Maybe Acer pinged it to get aggressive themselves, because, I mean, it's kind of obvious which ones they ping. No. Or is it you? I'm not sure.
No. I mean, listen, I didn't do anything. Yeah. Don't blame it on the German boy. Yeah, Exxon in the mid lane, 2 tanks against each other. We're having, with the talents now also on level 1 resistant taken against the stuns that we could see for the opponent. We've been going over the lineups already earlier, but I really feel that we're having a lead in picks and bans from Acer in this game now. Sorry, from 3 Max, of course. They've been doing really well at the beginning of the match here, and I'm curious to see how that it's going to translate in the mid game. Both teams now on level 4, sustain build on Stitches, no surprise here. But yeah, especially that, you pointed it out earlier, I really want to see how that Tychus pick is going to play out for Acer.
Yeah, they have to pop Odin a little bit earlier into fights, and then there's the potential that we see 3D Max just say, well, time to back off, Odin's there by, and it not really come to fruition at all. So that's the kind of risk that you've got to run when you're playing Tychus, and if your opponents have good vision on when and where and have options to retreat out.
It's basically you play just like you play Archon and Tacita. The problem is you have that additional wind-up time that makes it very easy for an opponent to disengage, and for you a bit difficult to really keep track of them. So in this case we're going to find out soon enough how Tychus is going to play out. The top lane is where they are pushing in again. Seats, so far only the small camps have been taken. That means 30 seats per team.
They're going to start the top Terror here. 3D Max, who can take it down pretty quickly with the damage that they've got available to them. Holo and Tony can't really rival this too much. They already noticed that Tychus was gone from the top, so this gave them ample opportunity to push this on.
Yeah, well, actually Tony gets a couple of points for me because he's riding the pick, and that's always awesome. So that's already a big plus for him. Tony has the money pick, and Shayu is trying to hook him off him, and well, he gets him, but that was a pretty close distance hook that he got there, so not really a lot that he achieved with this.
Yeah, kind of uneventful, so didn't really do too much. We saw also the bottom Terror being taken by Acer, so they even up their seeds nice and steadily. And Exxon can happily just dance around in the middle, not doing too much against what we're seeing there from Stitches. So, pretty safe. No kills gone down just yet.
It's really the top lane that matters here.
Yep.
For Illidan, we have also the one and only Illidan build with Shadow Shield on 1, with Immolation on 4, and then First Aid on 7. I don't think there is any other build that really makes a lot of sense on Illidan, at least not for the first 10 levels, where the Metamorphosis is of course going to be picked up as the level on 10. If Trixler is watching right now, our community representative for Blizzard from NA, I know Hunt is great, but still I think they're going to go for Metamorphosis here. But I don't really think that there's any other Illidan out there that plays on a competitive level that goes for a different build on those first talents.
Yeah, it's pretty set in stone. You need the ability to actually sustain through with First Aid, etc., as well as, you know, the Shadow Shield, able to keep you alive when you're actually jumping on in and stuff. But Nico, Leo from Korea and ADRD going to take that hard camp up to the top. They need to rival the idea of the siege camp pushing forwards with this tri-lane, and that's a great choice.
Yeah, it takes position behind the wall and pushes them back now. They have a slight lead in experience, nearly half a level ahead of Acer. That gives them an earlier 10, and that hard camp of course is going to be great. They can push in with this easily. Already pushing back Cypher here, getting mines in position, and ADRD starting to take the extra range and just go for the first drop at one of the towers. There comes Nika with another multi-shot. He goes full multi-shot build so far, and they're going to have that 10 easily.
Yep, and well, in the end, I mean, it's an interesting little setup, not only from 3D Max because they have such a good picking phase, I feel, but also they've got 2 healing wards over 0 on the other side. So if any fight goes down in a good position for 3D Max, they're going to just, I feel, out-heal the idea of their opposing team. It's going to be difficult for them to really break those locations if they don't have good focus.
Healing Ward is also going to be very good against the ultimate from Holo and Azebo against the Ravenous Spirit. They do not have Tranquility to make up for it, but go for Silence on Malfuri instead. But those Healing Wards, as you said, they are really going to help in those fights. And even outside of those, nice pick up by Holo. That was well done. Sees the Healing Ward, moves in, takes it out. Totally worth it.
Yeah, good stuff. Really needs to be able to deny that. It's going to be Gorge for Stitches, actually, over the idea of Putrebile. And, whoa, Zypher taking quite a bit of damage there under that root as well as Napalm Strike. So, but keeping himself nice and alive there is Tony, so doing okay.
Yeah, Gorge is being used more as a utility ult. Oh, Greenout in the middle has to use his Metamorphosis to get away from Shaihu. That was a close one. He nearly died there, and without the ult he definitely would have.
Maybe there's an opportunity here for them to actually force a fight, or at least force an objective and then try and get a fight out of it. With Metamorphosis down, that's a long cooldown, and it's a big portion of the damage that we're seeing from their side. Of course, with Nazebo and Tychus there, those still ample to support the idea of it being on cooldown.
Seeds are taking again, and the first one, the first plant is already growing. Oh, ADRD is maybe in a bad spot there. He needs to get away. He might not be fast enough if there's a grenade. Nice, pushes them back, uses the thrusters, gets away from Tony. He actually escapes, and they got the seeds at the top as well. They get everything.
I think, did Greenout get cleansed there out of that route? Because, I mean, he could have got in some trouble himself if they hadn't been too careful about it. But, well, for now, they're going to have to move on bot, get themselves some seeds themselves.
Oh, get themselves some Stitches.
Oh, yeah, he's gone.
Good kill. Very, very nice wall of zombies that we had. Completely blocked his escape path. And that forces them to give up the bottom plant. They're only focusing at the top now, trying to get the seeds there. They already have a lead in seeds, so that's very, very nice for 3D Max.
Yeah, able to get those 2 small camps up to the top, which was helping them out nicely there. And they are going to back off. Level 13 talents coming in here, though, for 3D Max. It's going to be Barricade actually taking on the Sergeant Hammer again. So we're constantly seeing that come along, and it's going to help him sustain and keep himself alive a little bit more.
Yeah, Hammer is a hero that I feel the core build is the same for everybody, and then people start deviating away from that. And you have a completely different build if you look at Shinobu on Sergeant Hammer. We had so many builds where especially the 3D Max players went for even Vampiric Assault. Like Nika takes it a lot on this hero. So it's very cool to see that Hammer has so many builds that are definitely viable.
And the level 16 talent is also really important. I mean, whether you take Graduating Range, whether you take the levitating, hovering siege tank, etc.
Oh, nice lockdown against Shayu, and there comes the silence into play. Suddenly Shayu needs to move away. Oh, they're trying to heal him out. Yoba is there on the plant. They're starting to get the damage, and both of the plants are there, and with Stitches down, it's of course a 4 versus 5. Saifu on the Odin did a lot of DPS there too, and 3D Max is on the retreat as they lost their first hero.
Yeah, we're going to have to fall back to this fort for now. And as you say, still the Odin persists, still it's here, still doing damage from range. Gonna end up falling out of it though, as the Garden Terror are actually quite low for Greenout, so it has to move on back. Zhao is still pretty healthy and can push on for a little bit.
The more important part is going to be the second plant, because 3D Max has done a lot of work during the last night, and they were able to get so many seeds, and now they have plant into plant, which is always a great thing to have, and they might even capitalize on this one a bit more than they already do, but only with 4 seconds on Yova's plant. He's gonna drop out of this, and Greenout of course is not gonna make much, like, he's not gonna make any noise with this one either.
And it's something that we've actually touched on a bit in the previous weeks, but also, I mean, we've just seen it in general. It's those slowly snowballing plant to plant to plant to plant. If you don't allow, if you get in a situation where, again, this next plant terror starts controlling extra seeds moving forwards, Acer needs to be able to somehow get out of that situation. So they have to be super adamant about collecting seeds in that next night, I feel.
Well, actually, in the next night they will be ahead because they have 50 against 1. But so yeah, you are right. They need to get seeds, but they will have the better seed count. They have to deal with that second plant now. That's the bigger problem for them, because this one could start to do a lot of work, and they are getting already quite a few camps before they even go to take the plant here. But AD already can't die. He cannot die. He pushed back Uther. That was a very, very important move here by him, because if he dies, then this plant is nearly worthless.
And they're going to stop that easy camp coming in from the side with that wall for just a little bit. But here comes Zhao Wei again to push on forwards. There's a grab on Hollow, picks him up, gets him in the gorge as well. He's going to get isolated. Metamorphosis comes out for Greenout to start things off, but Hollow's taking a lot of damage and he falls.
Yeah, the Hollow was polymorphed by the plant, goes down, and Greenout is low too, and bam! He gets a tree to the face and goes down as well. And the hook against Tony. Tony is gone, and that's 3 kills that they picked up within 5 seconds. Absolutely great for them. They can push in the fort, and they're not going to stop here. They're going to do more than that. They're going to take wall or just move to the bottom fort and take that as well.
And moves like that make you wonder how Stitches goes towards, I think he was 6th pick or something like that, but even with his nerf, or the idea of a nerf to Gorge, it's still such a potent combination that can really get you such an easy and nice kill very, very quickly. And now they put on pressure down to the bottom fort even. They've taken top fort, and they're getting even more seeds. And this is where I was mentioning before, it spirals out of control. Yep. They're having to deal with this Garden Terror, and all the seeds are being taken away from them.
Well, but that is a result of them losing 3 heroes. That was definitely like a bad fight that they had there. Stitches hooking into that. They should have been able to defend without losing too much there, and then they can actually contest during the night. But in this scenario, of course, you have Plant going bot lane, creating space for the heroes at the top, and now they have another Plant again and can go for this. Like, this is the ideal scenario. That happens. This should actually not happen, but it was a great move by 3D Max. Like, no question about that.
Here comes the rival in. They're going to try and jump on top. Here comes the Ravaging Spirits. Could actually do quite a bit of damage. There was the Uther ult as well to try and lock them down, but they actually managed to find a position. Not only Wall with the Metamorphosis to keep him alive, barely, but he ends up falling. So does Hollow. 3D Max just keep getting these fights again and again.
Yeah, well, this is actually the big problem that we're having now for them. With them trying to get enough seeds, which they did, by the way, they also were forced into a battle that they don't want to fight. And the reason is that they did not have 16. So they were lacking an entire talent where we have a Blood for Blood, a double storm, not to forget about that stat advantage too. And so they started losing heroes. They were already in a bad position. Then they were fighting against an opponent who had a better talent over them and had great initiation with another hook. So this is really just snowballing completely out of control for them. And it all started with a mid-battle where they lost 3 heroes. And at the worst time possible, as a freshly spawned plant moved in, then seeds appear on the map when there are 3 heroes down. And then they are taking a fight that they don't, well, they kind of are forced into it. I mean, they have very little choice there, and now they have to deal with a plant again, have to take the 16 talent. This is a nightmare for Acer.
Yeah, and going up against Fishing Hook on Stitches is going to cause them even more problems. Hollow seems to keep getting pinned down, locked down, any other way you look at it. Shaihu just catching people. Unfortunately, he catches a minion there, which didn't quite work out as what he would liked, but it still presents a really big issue that they have to deal with, and I mean, they don't have a huge amount to deal with it.
Yeah, Shai is doing very well with those hooks, and those hooks that he had earlier in that first fight, they definitely changed everything. That Gorge that he got off, and then the combo with the plant, going for the polymorph seed and Shio dropping the target into it, that killed the first one and snowballed from there. And now they're nearly on level 19. That's a 3-level lead. Even if you don't talk about talents, this is a massive stat advantage that they're having. And they're looking at the team that has just the tank together with Stitches, the hook comes in. And this is just what we've been talking about. The comp is better. It's simply better for 3 Max, and they played perfectly.
Yeah, it felt like this is how it was going to go from that pick phase, and I mean, even at this point, Greenout's Garden Tower has taken so much damage once that falls. There's still a good 30 seconds or so on this Garden Tower from Xiaowei to continue applying this pressure. They are almost certainly going to lose this keep unless a miracle happens, and he gets hooked in, and Greenout could actually take a lot of damage, but he manages to get out just in time.
Oh, but there's a polymorph. Okay. Shaihu is actually moving back now, but yeah, this keep is gonna fall. That's 20 additional seconds on the plan. Yoba is doing a great job here. Actually, they're starting to move back. They're not taking it, they're pressured too much. Oh, Exxon! Exxon needs to be careful, he's pulling off, moves back, but the kill against Sergeant Hammer. And here comes once again the Ravenous Spirit. Yoba is nearly dead. Shaihu went for the Gorge, but he gets locked down on ETC, makes them all dance, jumps in, pushes Stitches back, and Stitches drops as well. That was a beautiful fight here by Acer.
Yeah, that was the best opportunity to really do something, but still there's a little bit of sustain left over. Xiaowei as well as Nika now, with that healing ward, has really helped Taunt to keep on going at the front, and they get the keep regardless. So, and they still have a seed advantage.
The problem is it's night again. So now the 3 heroes that are still alive are going to take the easy camps, the small ones, on the way back, and I don't think they can be captured in time. So that's already seeds that they are going to have, and then you have to make a choice which one of the big plans you're going for. They take the top seeds, that puts them to 68, should be pretty easy for them to get one plant here. And we have the rest of the teams now moving to the bottom. Of course, 2 heroes are still down for 3 Max, but still, level 20 is going to hit any second, so if it's just plant versus plant, and a level 20 talent for 3D Max, they have such a big advantage that they might even just go through the mid lane and try to defend it. Yeah,
yet another problem arises as for now they're going to be able to take down that plant. Everyone respawns in time. There was no opportunity really for Acer to challenge both of them, unfortunately, which they would have loved to have done, of course, but right now that is not the case. The respawn is up. They're going to take this Garden Terror, and then from there, here comes their extra plant on the way. So Acer, what can you do? You can't really take too much of a fight with the level 20 talents coming in.
Well, right now they should actually get very close to a plan, but not quite. That's just like if you move back like this and steal the camps away. That's what you can do. Even though they were 1 hero down, just with the advantage that they had and them still being on full hit points, they could move back, take those camps on the way out, and now they're looking at 1 plant against none, and on top of that, it's 20 versus 18. And with Vala going for Nexus Frenzy, I guess she was never really under enough pressure to force her into Blink. Yeah. What surprised me a little bit more is that we have advanced Lava Strike. That is something that you usually use over the Nexus Frenzy talent when you want, first of all, you want to poke, and you have no other poke in your team. But they have Vala, so I'm very surprised that we're seeing Lava Strike here. I would actually said that with Vala here to go for a bit of poking, they're just using a hammer with Nexus Frenzy, but I guess they're just gonna throw in the advanced Lava Strike the entire time from the back line and trying to dish the damage in.
I mean, it hurts when you've got... they could just be looking to finish it right now with this Garden Terror. It's a bit ambitious, but there is the opportunity. Actually, Exxon's going to jump in, and whoa, a lot of damage coming out on Leo from Korea. Shaihu also takes some damage with the hook, but has to blink out.
Yeah, blinks out, and that was what we've talked about earlier. Gets the mosh pit into Ravenous Spirit, and that's exactly what you want there. Problem is, Keep still falls, even though they get that kill. And Yoba, well, he needs to get away there somehow. and might, with the help of ADRD, be able to escape. No, he gets blocked in! Oh! And now he retreats and just tries to create some space for ADRD, so that there's no problem with the third hero dying. Sacrifices himself. But yeah, still tricky, still the keeps down.
Yeah, let's take a look at damage done. A lot of damage in terms of siege been done by Hammer, obviously, and actually just taking the lead barely now in terms of hero damage. Trying to hold on in the mid, but I don't think they can move forwards here too easily against someone like ADR and Shaiku. They're going to try and do some damage here, but they're going to get picked away at slowly.
Okay, there's a problem now for 3D Max. And that problem is that we have 90 seeds already for Acer. So in the next night, they're definitely going to get 1 plant. They could easily get 2 plants as well. And during the next night, they should have level 20 as well. And their level 20 means that we are most likely going to see Nexus Blades on Greenout. And we're having ETC with Blink, we're having Ravenous Spirit, or Annihilating Spirit I should say, as well as Divine Hurricane. And there's like a lot of talents where you suddenly dish out more damage, you are way more mobile, and you can hunt down targets easily as Illidan. Even, like, Illidan is already amazing when it comes to hunting heroes, but now suddenly when he slows you down and has the extra damage, he's gonna become a huge threat. So the entire game was dominated from, if you look at the map objectives and the structures, by 3D Max. But this game is far from being over at this point.
Yeah, we're seeing also the Nexus Frenzy coming in from Tychus. So he actually benefits a huge amount from that with the speed at which he already attacks anyway, and nice little range boost that he does get from it. But it's whether or not he gets a good angle of attack to actually go for this fight.
And maybe more important than that, we're having Illidan without the Nexus Blades. He goes for the demonic form instead. So has demonic form now on his hero, and we have both of them now just like splitting the map again for seeds. Exxon is already thinking about moving to the top, and yeah, they're really trying to contest. They're trying to just like take down the team before they can get a plant.
They might be able to. They're pushing to the point where now we're seeing 3D Max actually dispersed from that location, and Shaiku is just looking for a hook. If he can get a hook here with that fishing hook, then could be a whole other story, but they don't manage. They actually back off themselves.
They have to. Look at the bot lane. The bot lane is being pushed in, and they have to send somebody down there to really deal with it, because if they don't, and of course to grab their plant as well, if they don't do that, they cannot afford to lose the third keep or even take too much damage on it.
Well, that's a little bit sad there for Acer. It's going to be Garden Terror versus Garden Terror very soon, but at least they could potentially actually move down towards the other Garden Terror and maybe contest that with us.
I don't understand why Greenout didn't move to the bot lane and drop a pot there to just simply force that lane out, push it out, while they had 2 heroes there that now have to chase up with the rest of the team, and Greenout loses nearly half of his HP as a result of that. He should have just moved down with a plant, drop a pot, that would have killed the mercenary camp, and then they can all together move to the top. Now he's already on half HP, and look at you over there on his own plant, he's still at full HP. That was a weird move.
Yeah, Yova's been just actually keeping his Garden Terror very healthy throughout these fights where we've seen Garden Terror versus Garden Terror, and Greenout just slightly overextending. This might be taking a little bit more damage. You just take 1 whack from the Garden Terror on Jova, a second one as well. Jova's yet to lose health. Greenout is going very, very far with his and losing the potential of this Garden Terror.
There comes... can they stun him out? Nope, there comes the mosh pit, and Exxon is very low! Exxon is about to die! And yep, he's already dead. Malfurion is down too, but Greenout is gonna drop out of his own plant any second right now, and this thing is hitting like crazy. It actually does 800 damage already. There goes the second kill, having ETC and Nazebo down. Greenout, on the other hand, he takes down Vala.
Yeah, out here with his demonic form to try and hunt down ADRD. Tony taking a bit more damage as him and Zhao really need to synergize well here with a good pushback with them, but enabling also the barricades cause a little bit of problems for Acer. But Zhao now he's a man alone. He's got to do something.
Yeah, he's trying to go for that. He doesn't have speed up yet, so he can't really speed himself up and do anything. But he was able to at least keep Hammer alive, and it was a 2 versus 3. And I really think that Greenout there wasted the plan a bit too much. He lost too many hit points too soon. They could have done a bit more with that. Jova and his plan fighting against the team in such a close encounter, he could get many hits in. He's trying to get now more seeds. Greenout is the only one who's trying to contest that. There's another 6 seconds, which is not a lot, but Hammer is now coming in too. That was a very close fight though. 3 kills against 2. This could have gone much worse.
Well, Greenout actually going to get shrink raped there for a second by Tassadar, who they're trying to keep away the seeds from them. With the reinforcements, both teams are once again going to look to contest this position. This is going to be highly fought over. They really just want the extra seeds from that. I think they can get themselves a. Can they get themselves a Garden Terror here? Can 3D Max?
No.
It's only the 60, right? Or,
yeah. It has a maximum of 60, and some were already taken, so they're at 35. They just can get into a good position for the next time.
Yeah. Oh well. Seeing Tony and Exxon now move forwards into this fight. They took a little bit of damage from that. Here comes Cypher as well with the Odin, but he's very far away. Oh, everyone taking a lot of damage already.
Greenout is down, and there comes the Gorge. Tony is down too. It's a double kill right off the bat. And now suddenly Holo, even with the Ravenous Spirit that he had, couldn't do the damage that he wanted to. They spread out very well, and suddenly Holo is trapped with a barricade, and he is going to die as well. Holo down, 3 heroes down. And well, this should be game actually, with 5 heroes still alive, and they could drop Cypher as well. Yes, they do. So they take out Tigers too. They can now just simply move through the middle and claim this game. So I want to say a little bit of an anticlimactic end to it, after we just had such an epic battle between the two teams here. But yeah, Acer got completely rolled in this last fight.
Yeah, I mean, they were knocking on the door at 13 minutes, and they've been able to... Acer actually made it go a little bit further. This had to be hopefully the best mosh pit of all time. Sadly, it can't do damage as well as stunning out.
It was the best one that he got off in the entire game, but it doesn't matter since he's alone. But well, it's at least a finish where he can rock a little bit. So we have in game number 1, 3D Max taking down Team Acer and getting the 1-0 lead in the best of 3 series.
3D Max takes the first series, takes down Acer, and in a very dominant fashion at that. Acer really struggling here a bit, and a couple of plays that were not on the same level that we saw Acer just a few weeks back, so they are really trying, they're really going through a phase right now. And we're going to jump into game number 2 and going to try and find out if they're maybe able to turn things around and force the 3rd game out, or if 3D Max is able to take this series with a 2-0 and take them down once again. So let's jump into game number 2 between 3D Max and Team Acer.
Ladies and gentlemen, game number 2 in the best of 3 series between Team Acer and 3D Max, and we are on Sky Temple. To the left side of the map we're having Acer starting at a disadvantage since they lost map number 1. It is Cypher on Sagara, Tony on Tyrande, Acer Holo on Vala. We have Greenout on Brightwing, finally back on his Brightwing, and Exxon on Stitches. To the right side of the map with the 1-0 lead in the best of 3, it is the Polish team. It is 3D Max with AD RD on Tassadar, Shahu on ETC, Nika on Falstad, Johan Zeratul, and Leo from Poland on Uther.
Leo from Poland. Perfect. All right, let's get into things then, as we're already seeing split up towards the top here to try and rival that position. But you don't want to be really fighting the Stitches on Exxon. So I don't think they should be pushing too far with that.
Yeah, so as already mentioned before, in this comp that we're seeing for the two teams, it's very likely that what we're gonna find from Acer is an attempt to really end that game before we're hitting 20. Dominate the temples as much as you can, especially with the level 10 coming into play, since you have ultimates like Maw, you have Starfall, you have probably Puric Bile on Exxon, and then you with Brightwing you're most likely going to see the Emerald Wind to like push targets out and control the space as much as you can. Then you have Zeratul on the side of 3D Max, and he's being played here with the Regeneration Master Talent on level 1, which we already talked about a bit earlier. If he gets on 20, then suddenly 3 heroes on the side of Team Acer are extremely vulnerable, Zagara, Tyrande, and Vala. So you would like to at least get a massive advantage before the 20 hits if you're on Acer's side, or win the game before that.
Next one's actually going to take block here, which actually works out alright for him, considering the fact that Zhao was rotating and looking for some damage on him. Doesn't get too much done. Here come the 2 temples, though. Zhao is looking to go straight to bot here for green now. He has to be very careful.
Yeah, he's already trying to get, of course, his singularity spike in. At the top, one of the things that I also want to point out when we're looking at builds is that we are seeing a Hungering Arrow or Siphoning Arrow taken on level 1 for Holo. So it's most likely going to be a right-click build for him. If he's going down the traditional path, it will be Manticore on level 4 and then on 7 most likely a Searing attack. That's what you usually do when you go for the Siphoning Arrow, because you want to have at least some sustain, but at the same time you go for it. It could be a hybrid build though.
Xiaowei just doing so much damage to Holo, even with just one cleave and one spike there. With a little bit of follow-up from Uther, but now they're going to come in and try and rival this position. The top is being held by ETC. If they can get both, that'd be fantastic. Yeah,
Nika is already very low, so is Vala and Exxon. It is 3D Max that do a very good job on this mid-temple, and that, well, they all in the meantime, they dominate the top temple, so they nearly get 2. They get the advantage in experience. So that's a bad start for Acer into the game. It's not horrible, but, well, they might lose one here now that suddenly it's a 5 versus 5. Actually, Falset isn't here. He had to heal up. But yeah, the temple at the top went in favor of 3D Max, and they still got a few shots from the mid-temple, pressured the opponents. They have a slight lead in experience, and also what they're having on the talent system is double gathering power.
Yeah, there's a healing ward, as you mentioned. And this, the interesting thing is Tranda actually hasn't taken her second talent just yet. Yeah, just waiting a little bit with that. Manticore being taken on that Vala. So, that right clip build.
Yeah.
Potentially coming out.
With that, he has a couple of options on level 7. The normal talent would be to go for Searing Arrow, but we've seen like all kinds of variations played, with Khaldor being one of them. But I don't think we're going to see something like Battle Momentum. So usually it's either Searing Attack or Khaldor that you're going to go for here. Here comes now the Healing Ward on Tyrande, so takes it after all then. And the teams are starting to go towards the camps, taking the hard camp here on the side of 3D Max now. But look at that experience lead. That could lead into the level 10 hitting for the Polish team during the second temple phase, and that is when you are really starting to be in trouble if you try to fight for it.
Yeah, as long as they're soaking, and they are at this point, also taking that hard camp at the back with the 2 that they do have available to them. Meanwhile, at the bottom, one of the most boring fights of all time is Greenout and Shaiku just going to hit off one another. But Nika going through to mid and still keeping himself well contested. Xiaowei is actually looking, or was looking, for a little bit of a rotation mid, but he's going to have to go elsewhere.
One of the things that you can do, by the way, when you fall behind so far that you realize you won't be able to contest the bottom temple because your opponent is hitting level 10, is you spread out and you try to soak lane experience to simply make up for that problem. Oh, Tony in a lot of trouble here, but he barely survives, drops the healing ward at the top lane, and that's the danger of going up against Zeratul. He's taken the True Shot Aura on level 4, Tyrande that is, and we're having Repeating Arrow on level 7 taken, with good old Zagara going for the only battle momentum in the game.
Yeah, Repeating Arrow was actually picked up a few times in the Major League when we saw the Siphoning Arrow being picked up, so it kind of makes sense. It may even have been Holo, now that I think about it. I might have to check back through that when I finish this up, but for now, they see them all in the middle, so they're not really rivaling this position.
It probably was. Like, there's basically Khaldor, Searing Arrow, and of course the Repeating Arrow that you can take, or Searing Attacks. So then we're going to see Nexus Frenzy for him taken on level 20.
Yeah.
But yeah, what surprises me is that 3D Max gives up the temple that easily, considering that they are nearly level 10. Now they are rotating in, but Falset is still at the top and is starting to take the structures down. They're going to hit level 10 for sure, but that temple is nearly out of ammunition already. They're still way ahead, but they are starting to fight now. ADRD is very low, it's just barely moving in. Falset is flying in right now. Oh, Shaihu with the attempt of the ultimate. Brightwing is in there now too. There comes the oh my god, a 4-man bubble. Well done.
Oh, a lot of damage from that Hinterlands Blast doing something to Tony, and also Greenout gonna end up falling. There goes Xiaowei to pick up Tony as well, and Cypher ends up taking so much damage. That was a sick good combo.
Yeah, look at 3D Max. They have all of their heroes nearly dead. Finally, at least one of them dies. Uther goes down, and Zagara is not going to make it either. But that was so close. It's a 3 versus 2 trade here. No, actually, sorry, a 3 versus 1. And yeah, that was extremely well done here. I mean, if it would have been perfect, then I guess Uther would have used his ult a second earlier, so that Falset lands his ult even better, but I mean, like, there's nothing to complain about here. It's level 11 versus level 10, 3 kills against 1. Great position for 3 Max now, but they're gonna lose Nika.
Yep, Future Bile does its job, keeps him slowed and keeps him tied down as Sankyu going to get out. ADRD, Joey, as Leo from Korea push away that easy camp down to the south. And, well, they're going to go for boss. They're going to go for boss. Xiao is moving to at least see this and try and rival it with the help of his compadres.
Yeah, ballsy move to go for boss here just like that. So, yeah, we have ADRD already here. His 2-second on false. That a hero that can bridge that space in an instant thanks to his fly-in ability. So they abandoned that idea. That was just like a very ballsy attempt. Oh, Xiao needs. Oh, that damage!
Oh, that was a lot of damage. Valor's going to falling very, very quickly. Greenout has to get out of there. Xiao also jumping up, but massive damage being done already. There's the devouring maw, but it's not going to really matter. Hinterland Blast comes in.
Terrible, terrible damage. That Hinterland Blast takes him out. Down goes Brightwing. So much damage dished out here. And well, we've been talking about this comp doing very well on the temples and that they have to take an early advantage. Right now we are seeing exactly the opposite happening since it is 3D Max that is completely dominating this game so far.
2 levels ahead. Well, 1 and a bit levels ahead. As we're going to see Acer eventually catch up a little bit. We're already seeing Valor go to the top to try and soak some of that experience and get going. But it needs to be... They need to contest these temples. They absolutely need to contest these temples. They don't want this to snowball.
Well, there's a hook, but once again against the tank, Yoba's already in there. And he is doing Zeratul justice. You can really see that he is putting the pain in. Especially that cleave that just like hits every time, and now he has Wormhole. They have a talent advantage over their opponent too, and that just adds to the horrible position that their one is in already. A Holo is dropping in HP as Yova is focusing his entire attention upon Vala. And they're moving back. They're going to the bottom. They realize that they can't do anything up here.
Yeah, it's a bit tough against that, with that experience lead that they've got, that level lead that they have. Actually, Distortion Beam being taken on Tassadar, so if anybody gets out of position and gets slowed down, this makes it really, really difficult for Acer to really get in a better position. They've got to be very, very careful about how they approach these fights now. They're trapped.
Yeah, they're very much trapped, and they have to use their Starfall and everything else here, but suddenly Cypher is in a really bad spot. Leo from Korea already in position. Tony is extremely low. Yoba is trying to take him down, but Holo dies first. Tyrande half a second later. They get not a single kill in just now. It's 4 heroes dead, and guess what? Stitches is not going to make it either.
Utter team wipe, utter domination down here at this temple, and 3-level lead now, with no experience going to be earned for a little while. They're going to lose forts, they're going to lose they could potentially lose walls. This is catastrophe here. Catastrophe.
I'm surprised that they don't go for boss. I really thought they
could.
would just like take the boss after they... well, they're probably going to go now. But yeah, this is not how it's supposed to work. Like in theory, for Acer, they should go for those temples with the Maw, with the Starfall, Putrid Bile. And that's the whole idea that they have behind the system, but it doesn't work like this, as you can see. They lose way too much. The pressure that is put in by Yoba and the rest of the team is just absolutely gigantic. And now you're 3 levels behind. You are a talent behind for 3 levels. This is nearly impossible to come back from. They need to go for an entire team wipe if they really want to do that.
With double imposing presence taken on the 2 people that are going to be at the front, fighting in the front lines with ETC as well as Uther there, and then Overdrive taken on Falstad to really cause a lot of problems with the damage coming out. They have to avoid a fight for so long, Khaldor. This is crazy.
And look how much damage and how much disruption Zeratul already causes. And now think about what happens when he hits 20.
Yeah.
I mean, he's already a nightmare to deal with at this point. At level 20, it's going to be so brutal. We might not even see level 20, though, if the game continues like it did so far. Acer they have to win a fight, and they have to win it big.
I mean, yeah, you see, this is the prime example of what happens when Zeratul actually gets through the ban and picks now. I mean, the Void Prism into the Hinterlands Blast in the first fight really did so much work. Even though the Hinterlands Blast didn't hit perfectly, it still hit enough to really cause huge damage. So it's beyond spiraled out of control at this point.
What is he doing there? Oh my god, like he's completely out of position. I have no idea what he was thinking, but that was definitely not intended. Great Maw, but Exxon is already dead, and they were on the move back. 3D Max were moving back, and then they suddenly realized, dude, what are you doing here? Alright, thank you very much for that present.
Yep, easy peasy.
Christmas already.
And they could take both temples if they want to from this. I mean, of course, if all 4 members went to bot temple, yeah, they can try and rival that, but they can try and stall out at the bot and only send one top. So, and Greenout's actually going to go top against
I
ECC.
want to point something out here, though. We've been talking about the last game, we've been talking about this, and Acer obviously isn't doing really well here. The one thing that is quite important to say, though, is they play with a very new addition to their team. So Tony is a new player for them, so they didn't really have a lot of time to practice with him, and therefore it makes it very difficult to play on their normal level. Vala is now dying as well, and I personally kind of lost hope for Acer here. If they don't somehow magically get a team kill now, I don't think they stand a chance. Leo moves in, well, one dies, but they kill two already. ADRD, that's the healing ward. Can they maybe, like, win the temple down here?
Well, potentially. Joey, though, just evading for a long time to be able to get his blink back on cooldown, jumps onto straight and picks up 2 extra kills. So, Exxon now, he's all alone, my friend, and that's a sad stitches when he's all alone and doesn't have anything to play with.
Acer showed us in the last few weeks what kind of a great team they are, that they are very, very strong, that it's tough to beat them, but they lost one of their players, they had to switch around. Now they're going for a new one. This is the first big one where he plays with them, so that's something where you can really just like lose a bit of focus, and I think we can all agree that they had a bit of a bad day. Considering the first game as well, it happens. It looks bad on stream, but it actually happens.
Show is saying raid boss down, and well, I mean, it is a tough situation now for Acer, who somehow have to claw back from almost a 4-level deficit. I mean, with extra income of experience going from those keeps.
Nice save. Nice save.
What happened?
Your save was awesome. With the extra income of experience was really good.
I did alright, man. I did alright. Don't worry.
Yeah, you can tell. That experience there.
I've done this casting thing for a while now.
yeah, once or twice, right? Like,
yeah,
I've done this before. I was jealous. That was a great save.
It was almost a Warcraft 3 kind of thing,
yeah.
But
well, right now, I mean, as you said, it's a 3-level lead, and we are looking at 19.5.
Yeah,
that level 20 is going to hit like a truck, and they already lost 2 of their keeps, so they only have 1 remaining. And the next fight is probably going to end the game, unless Acer wins it. If Acer wins the next fight with the underdog bonus that they could get through 4 or 5 kills, they might be able to get another temple phase in and dominate that. But who are we kidding? This is not going to happen.
Xiaowei just being able to blink back. Goes for the wormhole, and actually pick up a Zeratul kill because the wormhole didn't quite work out. Xiaowei's not landing his mosh pit as well as he would like. Maybe they can pick up more from this.
Yeah, if they actually get that, would be great for them.
Oh no. Oh, Khaldor, avert your eyes. Avert your eyes, Khaldor.
Oh, I can't. I'm laughing too hard.
Oh,
that
God.
ult. Oh my god, that ult.
I was like, maybe they could do something from this. Nika Hinterland's blast.
Like, he hit everything there. That was an overdrive Hinterland blast as well. That was brutal. Oh my god, that hurt.
Well,
that hurt me watching it.
Yeah.
Dude, I lost all my hair.
Really?
With that Hinterland blast just raised off completely. Okay, guys, this is game and match. We have, of course, with a 2-0 victory. 3D Max taking out Team Acer, who had a tough time today. Fair play, GG, well played. They played with a new player. They had a bad day. It happens, but congratulations, of course, to 3D Max.